Are we on? We here? Let's see here. You guys hear me? Sorry to be so late. There we go. All right. Hey guys, sorry to be so late. It was funny too. On the last live, of course, I've only done one, but I felt like I needed to start it with. I didn't start it with like, "What's up, guys? This is Stock Retail." I'll let you in on some, I don't know, behind the curtain. I'm in, and it's like one of the oldest rooms in our house. You can see it's not. In fact, my 11-year-old got on me after I did the last live. I need to put some stuff on the wall back there, so we'll decorate that soon. And then across the hall from me is my daughter's room. So she always makes fun of me because she's like, "Yo, what's up, guys? This is Stock Retail." You guys know I have 3 kids. One of one, she's of the 3, she's the one who who makes fun of me the most, but actually she's real good at it. She's the kind who can make fun of you and just have you cracking up at yourself. So she always has to hear me. "What's up, guys? This is Stock Retail coming back at you." I don't even know how that thing started, just came out. Hey, so first of all, I enjoyed the live the other day. Sorry it was so glitchy and laggy. I had to sort of cringe and watch myself back. Um, yeah, it was pretty bad. But I wanted to see, well, also because I couldn't track the chat, in real time, and so I wanted to see, what the heck were people even saying. So I did go back and watch it. Saw it's really laggy. I'll work on fixing that. We're probably going to be there again today. Um, just hang with me. Sorry. So I do have some topics I want to cover. One of the things I did see in the chat last time, a couple people were asking like, "Why are you doing this now?" Like somebody was even like, "Why are you on the offense?" or something. Um, I think I kind of explained, but I don't mind taking a minute and just sharing, why are we doing this? Why are we, like I'm here with you, we doing this? Couple things, I shared both on X and here that I watched Kitty's first live, and it was just funny that I'd never watched his videos, and so I watched his first live. Of course, last year I watched that live with like 600,000 people on it live, and CNBC showing it and all that. That was amazing. I was there for that one. But anyway, so why am I doing this? Part of it was I shared with anybody who made it to the last live, like it was just striking me like an act of generosity it was from him to just share his thoughts with us. And I mean, you guys know I've got some business background, and so I think over time, what I'd like to do is share how I pick apart a thesis and look at stocks and look at financials and all of that. So I'll probably do that sometimes. And so I was just watching. Granted, I was watching his like all the way from 2020, and he just was sitting there sharing thoughts with everybody. And I thought, well, okay, I could do that. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna ever be at his level. I don't think anybody is ever, probably. There's just one. But what he just inspired me to just, what, I could do that. So that was part of it. People just saying, "Why now?" I mean, literally, it was just, I don't know, why does stuff happen? Like, I watched that. I was on a walk, and then I was like, I could try that. So that's all. That's why we're here now. I will maybe try to follow the chat a little more today. We'll see. I've got kind of a list of things I want to cover again, but I'll tell you what, too. I don't know that in my mind the other day when we did this that I thought I'd come back to it this quickly. I still don't know how frequently. Maybe I'll try to get regular or something so we can schedule it, and the people who want to be here can be here, and I'm not surprising people so much. But again, I kind of watched the chat and I was like, "Oh, you guys were kind of having fun. People were saying hi to each other, and it was cool." And I was just rambling on and on. So I thought, oh, you know what? Um, I don't know if you're like me. I kind of backed out of a lot of the space calls. No offense if there's some space calls you like. In fact, I don't really have an opinion because I haven't been in them for a long time. But some of them started being either more negative or sometimes they're just on during the day and I'm working. Um, and so I just thought, oh, maybe it's a spot where if people want to, the last one I cracked open a beer and, oh, I got to reference that. One of you, I don't remember quite who, one of you like had even been saying, "Oh my gosh, if he opens a beer, this is going to be crazy," or whatever. And I swear to you, I wasn't watching the chat, and it was like 30 seconds later I did. Uh, don't have any in the house at this second, but I will tell you, you may hear a noise partway through because my wife is doing a grocery pickup and offered to bring one up. So I am, when we get late enough here, it's not even 5 yet for me. I'll open up one today. So Got some stuff that I'm kind of planning to cover today. We'll kind of hit a few topics. I'll try to check the chat and see some things that you guys want to talk about. But yeah, so like I said, I got a few things for me, and then maybe we'll hang out a little bit as long as people want to stay. So let me kind of go over and think about what I want to share here today. No hat today because I had the Dodgers hat last time. I was going to bust out. I've got another favorite hat. Well, you know what? I won't describe it. I'll share or I'll wear it another day. I had more meetings today for work, so you don't have that today. Um, but oh, here we go. Okay, just a minute. Opening a file over here on my side. Anyway, but so next time maybe I'll bust out another hat. I saw some of you were kind of not loving the Dodgers, but you know what? Right now they're really good, so you guys can suck it. Just kidding, just kidding. Okay, so here's a few things I thought about talking about. Let me see what I want to start on. You know what? Actually, so you can see. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Hang on. All right. Okay. Right before I came, so I had my daughter's working at a farm for the summer, and so I had to run her over to do the paperwork. Like the tax paperwork, and so that's why I was kind of hustling to get on here with you guys and was a little bit late. But anyway, I saw that weird after hours action. Finding out, it looks like. Oh, I guess we're not done, right? We're not done yet. So, but didn't we had a spike in after hour? Look at that. So this is interesting. I don't usually use Yahoo, so let me just see. Kind of used to using Weeble on my phone. Okay, that's not how I wanted to zoom in. So you see, I don't even know how the Yahoo site works anymore. What I wanted to see was volume there. Maybe I do have a Weeble app on my computer. Maybe I need to open that and share it with you because that's not really showing. I know there was a little volume spike there, so I'm going to pull it up on my phone just so you don't have to. Maybe I will open the Weeble app while we're waiting, and then I'll just pull that up for you guys. Uh, Give me a minute. By the way, it was interesting when I just pulled that up with you guys. We were up that 1.17%. If you follow me on X, you might have seen. Maybe I won't bother explaining why today, but I like the number 117. So that was kind of funny to see right as we pulled that up. But I know there was, in terms of after hours, it wasn't huge, but there was a little bit of a bump in volume right there. So just forgive me while I look down here. And I do want to talk about our last couple days with AMC and GameStop and Bitcoin because I mean you guys know. So what I'm more used to is I pull together information, I'll put it in a PowerPoint, I'll pitch it to you guys. But I just thought we could try to just chat together today on this. But I do want to talk about the last couple days of AMC, GameStop, and Bitcoin. Maybe even Metaplanet. Might take a look at that a little bit because I think a lot of this stuff is kind of being tied together. Oh, by the way, just another maybe like I don't know, kind of housekeeping thing. Here we go. Weeble's pulling up on my computer. Um, I think you guys were asking me in the chat last time if these were the audio, and yes, they are. I have a mic, but what's happening is I've got this old Mac. Told you guys it's like a 5-year-old Mac, and so I'm using a dongle to like connect all. That's probably why the webcam is laggy too. So I'm gonna have to work on that. Hopefully not as bad laggy today. But so I have a mic. Maybe I'll switch to the mic in the future if this because I noticed too that it was laggy from audio to my I don't know my lips. um, okay, let's see here. See how this will go. Come on over, Weeble. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. But so interesting. We had this little spike to 360, right? That was kind of odd. And you can see the 127,000. I want to point, but anyway, you guys can kind of see. Look at the top left of the chart there. 128K basically. So after hours, that's a little chunk. I mean, that was not very. I was a little ways into after hours. So that's when I was driving around with my daughter. I'm not quite sure what that was. If there's sometimes like an OTC trade will clear after hours or something. That seems usually those are quicker after hours. So I'm not sure who came in. That's an interesting spike in volume, and you can see just wicked right down right away too. and then kind of bled out the rest of it. So I zoom out a bit. You know, that's a 5-minute candle. Let me show the 1-minute candle. That's going to make it more interesting too. Hang on. Sorry, guys. You know, I always tell you guys, Weeble's not my broker. So if I was on my broker, but I just don't want to show you guys my account. If I was on my broker, I could chart this a lot better. So this is a little funky to do with you guys real time. But so there in the 1 minute, well, that doesn't make sense. Were we on the wrong? Now that's showing 15,000 and it was a lot bigger. You know, I know we had 5 minutes, but that's not still going to add up. Something's weird here. So that's me not usually using Webull. But the point is, I know we had that little spike. Let's just go back to that 5 minute. So that was kind of odd. And you can see we kind of trickled out. And I guess right now we're at 347. So I don't know. Let's keep track. Maybe we'll just kind of get off of that topic. But after hours, a little odd. I do like watching. Somebody asked me in the chat the other day. I was referencing night trading. That's just I'm watching that on Webull. Webull a while back. I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. You guys checked me on that. A few months back, Webull opened 24-hour trading on like GameStop and AMC, maybe Tesla, and a few others. Now it's kind of grown. So that's it doesn't mean a whole lot. Like you've seen Apes posting probably on X, like, oh my gosh, we're up 5%, and then it'll be on like 2 shares. So I wouldn't overreact to the night trading, but it is still interesting. I'm starting to learn the pattern of what do we see the night before, and then what do we see during the day. But let us look actually. If I go back here, now let's go to like let's go to 30-minute candles. Okay, so interesting to see. And if I was to pull up, GameStop, if I was to pull up Bitcoin and AMC, you guys take a look and you'll see real interesting that we had this, I think I posted even, we kind of saw this type of weird stuff in 2021 and 2022. It's like that, steep drop at open, and then this like trickle out during the day. And actually, this isn't, I don't know if this is really the view I want to show, because what was interesting, let me see something else here. Hang on. There you go. So AMC more had, see how like just after open, so we had the drop, right? Can you kind of see that there? Sorry, guys. I'm just, maybe I will find a way to use a better charting app when I show you guys, because often this is not quite how I would look at it. But you can see the drop at open, and then we had this little spike, and so then it felt like, oh, maybe we're going to actually have an okay day. And then you would see on X I posted, it's like that 45-degree down angle just kind of consistently for a while. That just feels like a steady diet of shorting to me. That or in 2021 we saw a lot of wash sales with high frequency trading and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, boof. And so that's just interesting to watch. That we got used to barcoding for a long time, right? So very different to see that going on. I'll start tracking. In 2021, I mean, I was in the chart all day long, like just really tracking, as I was kind of semi-retired then. Obviously, finances changed since then, but anyway, and so I would just like obsess the chart and watch it all day long, and I saw that a lot. I even learned when the algorithms would run back then. But different to see now, because we've had so much barcoding for so long. So wild to see that. And then if you were to look at GameStop, maybe I'll just real quick pull that one up on my phone. But it was very similar, where you had that drop at open, or if you kind of look at the 5-day on GameStop, then that was kind of interesting too. Like obviously, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Kind of is, Ryan Cohen came out and made the big announcement for buying Bitcoin, which very cool. And so that's why I want to talk about that a little bit too, because I think there's some narrative playing out, and you guys know all the online sort of social media wars that happen. And even we'll end up. I got distracted because I see Bitcoin over here. You kind of watch the last few days. I mean, really, what's it, 2 days ago when RC announced, and just down since, or even yesterday. Well, did you see? So they bought 4,710 Bitcoin under GameStop, which is just cause for celebration as far as I'm concerned. That was like $512 million. And so that was really cool. And I don't know if I don't know how many of you on YouTube also track me on X. I'm gonna guess it's 80% or more. But I'm just gonna talk like some of you don't see some of the posts. So forgive me for those of you who saw it. But all the way last year, I kind of decoded my own decode for you all. That a year ago I had talked about. I think maybe Ryan Cohen and Kitty are getting on the ark. Was this thing I had said? Oh, hey, special delivery. Uh, it's after 5, guys. 5:01. Perfect timing on the delivery. Thank you to my wife. So different beer today, and then I'll come back to talking about that. Although you know what, this is you're going to be mad at me because you'll see. Let's see. All right. Hey guys. Think we're back. Worst live ever. That's okay. There are 20 of you who stuck it out. Man, I don't know how people put up with this and stick around for this stuff. That's tough. Are you seeing me? All right, cool. Okay. You know what? We'll power through. This is the AMC experience, isn't it? You got to just stick around until it gets better. So all you missed was I think, probably missed me showing you what it was, and I was laughing that. Let's see if we can get this. There is a bear on this, but it's an Oregon beer, Freem. Sorry for the camera being terrible. We'll just kind of keep trying. Anyway, but so it's a Freem Pilsner. It's an Oregon beer, PFRIM. Kind of got to say that at the beginning there. All right. I don't know how much you caught. So I was talking about the ADD issues and revisiting some stuff from the last stream. And then what I really just want to, why don't we get focused for a minute here? I'll work on being focused. Interesting that, since, so let's go look at GameStop here. Let's look at our dailies for a minute, right? So basically, Bitcoin gets announced and goosh, right? And we all know that's ridiculous. Come on. Um, you know, the my thesis with the Bitcoin treasury companies is Bitcoin's going to lift those companies. Certainly, I mean, it's happened twice, right? Like, I think this is probably when it kind of got announced, when the bonds happened, somewhere over here. And then Ryan announces the Bitcoin purchase and it gets attacked. And so I've tried to start highlighting for you guys. I showed the squad that circled around MicroStrategy. Go back and find that recorded video if you want. What I'm just trying to start to draw out is, man, I think there's a real, like I said, battle lines. That sounds so dramatic, but there are groups who don't want to see Bitcoin succeed and don't want to see Bitcoin companies succeed. And I do think that in some ways, Bitcoin is like the older brother or the bigger thing that is going to break some of the shorts who fought us for so long. It's been such a long battle, and that's part of why I've watched this. And I think what I was sharing, and I don't remember if it was when it was frozen or not, is I had reposted on X, and again, I don't know how many of you follow me on X, but I had reposted on X that sorry, just distracted myself with a thought. Remind me to come back to this in a minute if I don't. Just say, hey, there's that thing you forgot. Um, anyway, a year ago, so it was May. It was May of 2024. I was talking about Ryan Cohen and our, Roaring Kitty maybe getting on the arc, and I kind of decoded that for you guys. That was a breadcrumb. That clear back in May of 2024, I was talking about that. I thought maybe uh, GameStop would kind of get on Bitcoin. And then there was another one. It was like in June of 2024, where I said basically I thought Ryan Cohen should be kind of half Warren Buffett and half Satoshi. So the reason I'm drawing that out, maybe I'll share another day, why I was already guessing that. But I just, I suppose you know how much I talk about credibility. So if I could call a year out that they were going to get into Bitcoin, at least I would hope some of you would ask the question, like, what the heck? How did he kind of know that? And what else is he maybe trying to hint at? So that's why I kind of draw that out. And maybe it's better to be lucky than good, or maybe my DD kind of helped me sniff out that might come. But so here's the thing: like, really notice, the Bitcoin conference is happening, and RC announces. Oh, and I wanted to say, like, so go check. I know it's all over X. It's probably in various Reddit forums, and sure on YouTube. his interview with David Bailey, who's very deep in Bitcoin. Um, I think it's worth taking a look at that and take a look at the timing. I need to go double check, but I think basically RC was having that discussion with Bailey. I don't think it was live, and so kind of maybe signal some things about the timing of when GameStop actually bought the Bitcoin. And so maybe you saw that was 4,710 Bitcoin, and if you're on X, you would have seen me decode some things from that. Really, why don't we even just look at that? There's some kind of fun decodes if you want to put on some tinfoil. Um, Hang on, I got to get over to my Twitter over here. X, got to get to my X. I'll just show you one of my posts. Oops. So the other cringy thing I saw from last live is I kept doing this. I'm getting sweaty up here in this hot room. I swear I'm not doing the nose wipe or anything like that. Just a minute. Make this run a lot better for all of you. Oh, darn. You guys ever noticed I don't like the search on the desktop version of X as much as on the phone version. On the phone, I can go right to my profile. I could search my posts. On the desktop version, you got to go to the advanced search and stuff. It's really annoying. So right now I'm actually just scrolling. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy. I don't want to do that. Ugh. Give me a minute. Here, maybe what I'll do, I'll just airdrop it pretty much from my phone. This will be way faster. So I just want to show you some decodes just for fun. Let's look up that 4710. Hmm. Where is it? Ah, shoot. I'm probably losing all of you right now as we speak. You're watching me scroll my phone. Also, did you see Greg's post today? That was kind of fun. The mannequin with his shorts down. And then I think next to it, what did it say? It said, hang on, it was up there. I'm going back to it. Oh, in motion, right? So there were plenty of decodes on that too, if you want to believe that he's walking around with us. While I'm scrolling, I'm just seeing a couple other things maybe worth sharing. Did you see today that the administration is removing some roadblocks that the last administration had put in to allow people to invest some of your 401k money in Bitcoin? And I saw, I think someone was saying the 401k, let's call it, I don't know, just total assets under management almost. I don't quite want to call it that. It's not really the right term, but um, it's like $8 trillion. And so someone was kind of saying, man, I mean, even if just a certain percent, like they say 1% was invested, you get like, was that like $800 million or something? So it could be a very significant shift if you start seeing that 401ks can invest in Bitcoin. Let me just make sure we're still live. Yeah, you guys are still there. Making sure I didn't freeze again for you. And then while I'm looking this up, the other thing I would say is really pay attention to, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit, but how much the certain Bitcoin influencer accounts all tried to take a crap on Ryan Cohen for just putting $512 million into Bitcoin. I thought that was obviously pretty ridiculous. And I think it shows you guys remember 2021, 2022, really even now to this day, all of the division between GameStop and AMC. And so that's why you're watching me kind of go away from that. I mean, I'm still very much it's clear I'm AMC, right? The deeper DD I post is AMC. All of the Forward look on earnings is AMC, but I'm kind of over the division narrative. Like I'm just past it. Um, and if people want to play that game, they can do that, but I'm not doing that. And so what I'm watching though now that I'm outside of that is the same thing kind of beginning with Bitcoin and GameStop. And so that's why then the video a little while back where I was showing you guys the same people who attacked AMC were starting to gather around attacking MicroStrategy, and all of the same tactics being used. And now, if you watch online, you'll see watch for all the Bitcoin accounts who are like, "Oh, Ryan Cohen just totally didn't go deep enough into Bitcoin. I'm out." And so they're trying to make it sound like I don't know, like he's not a real Bitcoin person or something. I'm going to talk a little bit about that maybe before we're done, because I just don't think that's at all aligned with sort of the spirit of Satoshi and the spirit of what Bitcoin's been and sort of educating yourself with humility and some things like that. So that's how I can just spot that a lot of those, I think it's a narrative. They're trying to develop a narrative and create friction and fights. They don't want unity. They don't want Bitcoin accounts and GameStop accounts and AMC accounts starting to say, look at none of us is in the big party, right? We are not on Wall Street and we are not the ones in control. And we're a little bit tired of all of the things we've been fighting. And so, I think they want to keep us divided. So I just watch for that. All right, let me find that darn decode. Where is all that? Uh, this is why you don't do this stuff live, though, guys. That's okay. Almost there. It wasn't posted with some of the wording that I thought, so my search didn't work. Gotta be right around here. Heck, one of you DM it to me. Probably you guys already found it. Uh, oh, I think I found it. I think yes, here we go. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. So here we go. See if this will work. I don't have an account on this. Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. I got to go to a different tab of Chrome where I'm logged in. There we go. So just for fun, check out these decodes because they'll jack your teats, so to speak. All right, how we doing? Is anyone even still here? Let's see. All right, there's over 100 of you. Okay, that's not terrible. In fact, that's awesome. Um, let's go back here. All right, let's look at those decodes. All right, so Ryan Cohen bought 4,710 Bitcoin. Frankly, I think that's amazing. Again, dropping. Well, I should say the value of them at the moment I posted this was about 512 million. I don't think he spent 512 million. That's what I was trying to tell you guys. Um, the interview with David Bailey, maybe we ought to go look up when so somebody basically a GameStop ape I think I saw had kind of posted like, wait a sec, they were kind of sharp and caught that actually maybe that was a recorded conversation is my point. And maybe it had happened a while back. So and I had posted before just to encourage any GameStop holders, I think I posted like a month or two ago. If you just think about like the timing of when he probably bought some of that, then he's already up quite a bit. Another thing before I get to too much more of the decode stuff is do think through that I believe that still means, still means that basically GameStop owns uh, Bitcoin is less than 10% of GameStop's value. And so there's not necessarily, I believe, the need to report that. And so that was part of it too, of, this amount is keeping it below sort of pardon me, reporting requirements. So very interesting. I'm going to be watching heading into June 10th and the earnings call. Because, has he perhaps bought more? Will they report? I don't know. I mean, and I'm not even going to speculate on that. He could have for sure, but I like that he was sharing. He's got his own strategy, and he's following that strategy, and I can respect that. I think you guys caught either on might have even been the last live or it's a past video where I pretty much kind of opened up and said, "Hey, in the past, I've been too judgmental of RC myself." Maybe some of that came out of the AMC GameStop divisions, the wars of 2021. I don't know. Um, but this moving in silence thing, right? A lot of us, I think, just really want to hear from our leaders and we want to know what's going on. And sometimes, guys, like we can't out of both sides of our mouth. On the one side, we say all of Wall Street is against, GameStop and AMC. And then on the other side of our mouth, we say, well, tell us everything. Well, if they tell us everything, they're telling Wall Street everything, right? So it's just like, okay, I'm going to just let the man cook. He's delivered an awful lot of value over the years, and I love the Bitcoin strategy. So, there's a certain amount of trust and respect that you start to just decide, am I going to sit here and sort of shout and complain all the time, or am I going to start to kind of just you know, trust the management team. And that's the same conversation in AMC we've had about AA all the time, right? Like, I trust him. I'm going to let him cook. If he's sometimes even if he doesn't make the same decision I would have made, there's a reason I'm not the CEO and he is, right? So let's look at some decodes. This was funny because it was just random. I swear to you. I was checking in, Gematria. You see all that. I haven't historically been a decoder per se, but I've played with it over the years and started to kind of. I'm just a person who spots patterns, I suppose, and so I kind of played with it. And interestingly, so you can see, so this is just the Roman numerals. You could Google this for 4,710, right? But look at these: game over, black swan, TikTok. Like we've always said that. Las Vegas. Well, the Bitcoin conference is literally in Las Vegas, and I think sometimes these guys have a little bit of fun with it, like a little, I don't know, wink or on the nose kind of thing. That here he is in Vegas, and he buys an amount of Bitcoin that decodes to Las Vegas. I'm like, come on, you want to convince me that's a coincidence, a coincidence? Maybe it is, I don't know. But um, then there were some things, two of these in particular, I suppose, were a little more just things that I've seen over the years. People were asking me, like, bro, why are you talking about penguins? So I'm just pulling in on that. So, right, so penguin. Um, and it was because I felt like I had seen some things over time. And so, oh, and lobster, but look at how lobster spelled. And now you'll go like, wait, what? So January of last year, or no, this is this year, I think. Penguin. I was talking about penguin, replying to Greg. Here is lobster, but look at how I spelled it: lobster, penguin, uh, and then penguin again. So people were kind of like asking me, wait, whoa, what are you doing? Because some of these are even from last year. So that's why I was like, whoa, hey, that was in the decode too. And then I think, reposted. There was a post I found, and I just searched Greg's timeline, and there was a post from like 2021 with Penguin. And so I'm sure you guys are. In fact, I even see. I don't know who Red Tux is, but what the heck is going on? I'll explain maybe some other day. But for now, all I wanted is a little bit of, I don't know, I suppose I'm kind of just saying, hey, maybe I see some things from time to time, and try to pay attention. And, again, if I called that they were going to get into Bitcoin a year ago, so just fun to watch. Those were fun to see. To be honest, I actually don't necessarily think these were specifically what he meant. Maybe some of this was coincidence, and I just was excited. Like, hey, maybe like I said a little while ago, sometimes better to be lucky than good. But here's the thing, too. Like, so he announces this, right? And then let's go back here. So let me draw back together. I showed you that the group that attacked AMC, so you're talking Chanos, you're talking, well, Citron is really more GameStop related, but think through just 2021 and the meme wars. You got Citron, you got Chanos, you got Shkreli. Shkreli attacked AMC. I kind of called to account a bunch of AMC accounts who echoed Citron's talking points. I'm not going to, do a big old war today. That's all I'm going to say about it. But, I just ask everybody to pay attention. It's okay if you disagree with me, but boy, pay attention. So all the group who kind of went after GameStop and AMC gathered around going after MicroStrategy. I know some people are wishing maybe I wouldn't talk as much about XRP, and out of respect, I want to continue to say I understand that you may believe you can make money on it. I'm separating that from my point of view. on its some of the darker designs that some people have had, basically hating Bitcoins. What you're watching is GameStop is lining up with Bitcoin. And the people who hated Bitcoin, including Ken Griffin and Jamie Dimon, I've spelled all of that out, go back to some of the videos, are now kind of rallying back around kind of anti GameStop as GameStop was announcing this Bitcoin strategy. And they're rallying against MicroStrategy and against Michael Saylor and stuff. So I would just watch really carefully people who are attacking, creating narrative, especially about Michael Saylor, about Bitcoin, and especially anywhere where that starts to connect. You saw then, like I was trying to draw out, some Bitcoin influencers. I'm sure you saw some of those where they were taking shots at GameStop today, and it's the classic. It's not an airport, bro. You don't have to announce your departure. Some of them saying, "Well, Cohen didn't." Okay. Uh, Oh, never mind. Okay, I thought someone was taking a shot at me in the chat, but I'm realizing they were joking around. Okay, like, all good. Anyway, so it's the classic of like announcing your departure from the airport because they're trying to say, well, Cohen didn't, spend his entire wad on Bitcoin on day one, and so therefore he's not really in Bitcoin. I will tell you, I have been studying it myself. I told you guys, and I would consider myself a noob pretty much compared to some people who've been in it for years and gone really deep. But you get on your journey and you do DD, right? Same way we got into AMC. Um, and if there's one thing I feel like I'm learning in terms of a value, it's humility with Bitcoin. When it comes to Bitcoin, I think you do well when you come at it with humility because you start unpacking it and unraveling it. And you start realizing the mathematical elegance of it and just some really even philosophical elegance of it. And if you be humble and do DD, I don't mean to go just overboard on that. Maybe I'll share it more another time. But and that's why then I notice who attacks it too. And when the people who are attacking also happen to be shorts who have attacked AMC, it's hard for me to not say there's a connection. So the reason I'm drawing that out then is think about Ryan says, okay, we've got Bitcoin, and bam, attacked, right? And then obviously AMC, same time frame, right? We had our great run, and then same 2 days. Look at that, boom, boom. You want to tell me it's a coincidence that Ryan Cohen celebrates being in Bitcoin? Oh, look at this line, guys. Actually, speaking of being ADD, I drew this line like a year ago, and that's just crazy. Not a year ago. It's probably 8 months ago or so. Crazy that look at how we popped out of there. Sometimes you can really predict the algos. I don't do that publicly. All right, we're back. Okay. All right. You know what? Probably saved you guys from a long ramble. I was talking about, I'll just TLDR this thing. No, we're not waiting until 2030. I'll just unfilter. I speak with a lot of filters. I'm trying to be cautious and careful, and I hate people getting misled and all that. So I constantly filter myself. But that's a real life thing too. Uh, no, I don't think we're waiting till 2030, and I don't personally like that narrative. I think we're making so much profits. I don't know where I lost you, but we're making so much profits, even just the rest of the 9 months of this year, Q2, 3, 4, that it's going to force. At some point, the algos themselves are going to go gobble gobble. I'm hungry. I want AMC, right? So that's my point. Back ish. Or maybe because I'm not sharing the screen too. You know what? I have a new theory. I'm almost going to work on here. Uh, But do you guys, Phil? You said back-ish. How are we doing? Hello. We might just have to call it. All right. Let's see. Okay. I think you're saying we're good. Well, let's stop sharing for now. How about that? I'm seeing the. We'll try this. Give me a second. Whoops. Okay. Any better? How's this? Um, the only thing is I'm going to want to show a couple more things probably, but we'll see. So, you know what's weird? I'm looking at my screen. Now we're back to 50, which is obviously not. I'm just laughing, right? Like I shouldn't. I should be glad for who's here, and I really appreciate that, guys. And it is kind of fun watching the chat. Um, don't have a bunch of shills talking. I like that. Um, but I noticed a little bit ago when I closed it, there were like say 20 people, and then when I reopened this, there's like 50 immediately. I bet we got bots. I bet we got bots watching us. So beep borp, meep moop. Hey guys. Um, that or just this tracker's weird. I don't know. So maybe for now, I'll just think about the topics I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if I have to show them all. I'll tell you another one. Just maybe back to the tinfoil for just a minute. Seeing you said it doesn't lag when we're full screen, so that's cool. I will just think about. Maybe I'll just try to share only when we have to or something. Um, the Bruno posts from Kitty. And if you go back, actually, so there's that one account. Remember when Kitty came back last year, and then there's the TikTok account. Still questions on who's behind that TikTok account. The one like the bandana TikTok account. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. Somebody drop in the chat, would you? Just like, yeah, we know what you're talking about, or no, we're not tracking. I forget the name for the accounts, like JTPG. I forget what. Anyway, they reposted today a Encanto, scene, and so one thing I'm thinking is basically if go watch that, and you would see it's Bruno and uh, Blanca, I think it's her name, talking about oh man the future and having to repair this house and stuff and having to needs to be an embrace. You got to embrace a hug between Blanca and her sister. And so some people were kind of, saying it is the embrace. Basically, you got to embrace Bitcoin, and so that's why I did that account repost that. And obviously, Kitty had a Bruno post. Excuse me. Um, Bruno is a little more. We all know the story, or a lot of us know the story. Like the kind of the outcast who really actually has very special powers and really ought to be brought into the family. Um, and so maybe just and Grant, like think about Kitty's skills, his skills, his talents, his abilities, his maybe time traveling, whatever the heck it is. Um, so certainly, maybe I don't know if that's what Let me not keep going down the path of what Bruno was all about. But the point is, take a look if you want some tinfoil on people talking about was basically that scene kind of about embracing Bitcoin, and that's what RC's been doing and stuff. So that was just some tinfoil on that one. Um, we've talked. Gosh, we talked about all of the kind of getting attacked as soon as they bought Bitcoin. You know what? Okay, let me tell you something. In the past, it would have been like this gut punch, right? Oh, there you go. Yeah, what Phil was putting up the JLGJTPM. But I will say, be careful because the X account has said, nope, I'm not him. Whereas the TikTok account, I believe at one point was on Kitty's YouTube, right? There was an actual, like it was there. So I think the X account and the TikTok account may be separate. Not sure. But so I'm not pumping that account. And in fact, the X account had some stuff with maybe people I didn't love as much, but I mean, I don't know. You don't have to be judgy here. So uh, I don't know that they're both necessarily. I don't know that either one is Kitty. But just it reminded me about the Bruno thing and all of that. That was all I was saying. Um, I was going to talk about. So just I know I covered it a little bit already, but the connection to Bitcoin and all of us getting attacked at once. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So with our red days, last couple of days, especially yesterday, right? Like that was pretty deep. But I'll tell you, I'm sure maybe some of you won't share my sentiment, but for me, I was kind of unbothered. I just went along with my day. Don't get me wrong. Like I want just always up, like the one video from Kitty with the calculator and flip it around and always up. Of course, I want that. But I don't know how to tell you. Like, so today on X, I posted like, how everybody says this time is different, and it's always like, okay, it's kind of a joke almost. But for me, it kind of did feel like this time is different. And I don't mean literally any day or anything. Don't let me FUD you if it just doesn't happen in these next days, weeks, whatever. It's not what I'm saying, but I don't know how to express to you other than to say I was more calm with this pullback than I've kind of ever, internally. Like externally, I'm always fine. I hang in there with you guys. But you still kind of wake up in the morning. I'm West Coast, right? So I wake up in the morning, and maybe sometimes the market's already going, and I'm kind of like, and then I'm like, crap, that kind of response. Not yesterday. Yesterday, I was just like, well, kind of sucks, but I know we're winning. Like, I mean, good lord, look at how much money we're making. Look at how we just had the record Memorial Weekend, all the things. So that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know, encouraging you guys, I suppose. Like, it's not that big a deal. It just doesn't feel that bad to me right now. So it's like, I don't know. It's going to happen when it happens, and that's been part of my journey too. Like, just getting more and more accepting of there's stuff out of our control, guys. And even though there's corruption and it sucks and it's stupid and we should fight it, and I'm never going to stop fighting, to be honest. Um, but we're winning. I can't. I mean, I can't promise that. I never can. But it's in my it's in my plums. So I just really believe that we're winning, and Adam has helped us survive and thrive, and we're in the thrive period and all that stuff. Saw someone just now. I'm kind of half tracking the chat now that I'm not sharing the screen. Have a chance with GameStop. Yeah, I mean, so maybe some folks missed that. So I won't go back too much for all the people who've been here, watch the recording of the live, I guess. But absolutely, I mean, GameStop. Good lord, it's you guys are sitting on billions in cash. Now you're sitting on half a billion in Bitcoin, and I would perceive. I don't know him at all, but I would perceive Ryan Cohen is not a person who takes to losing, and is not a person who likes being messed with. Um, same with Adam, same with Kitty. We've got they're good people. I believe, and that's why I'm here. But maybe it's a bit like me. Like I've got some competitive fire too, even if I speak with a soft voice. So uh, I think people who don't like losing and do like doing things right and are smart have been finding ways. And so yes, I believe that. Maybe you're clarifying the question I'm seeing now about earnings. Well, yeah, I don't know. So I was sharing earlier in the call, like, you know, if you don't own basically more than 10% of your company in Bitcoin, then you don't necessarily need to file it. That's hearsay, but I'm hearing it from somebody that I trust, and even that's an understatement. I trust them a lot, and so I believe that if he crosses the threshold of the 10%, then sure, maybe he'll report some more. But otherwise, I don't know. By the way, I see the Karate Kid thing. I think I mentioned that on the other live I did too. That Karate Kid is totally in my wheelhouse. One of my favorite movies ever. But I have seen a couple people. Now, granted, there's some people who just are going to spread negativity no matter what. I have seen a couple people question it. I've seen some positive reviews too. And then also, like, how many times have we seen the critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes? It's like the critics they don't even know the audience. I don't know. Um, like Mario, right, was a good example of, and it just got trashed by the critics, and then it was, one of the biggest movies in years, and so the audience loved it, and so I don't know if I'm too concerned about some of the critic scores for Karate Kid, but I do want to wait and see how that does. I've got a sort of conservative forecast on that because I had heard rumors, so we'll see how that goes. But I would love to see it because I love the franchise. Um, just a minute. You know what? Now that I'm not sharing a screen, maybe you guys can see this better. So, Freem Pilsner. But I think it was when I was frozen. So let me just repeat that. I apologize. There's a bear on there. Let's not celebrate bears. Um, yeah, Phil's right. Frozen. Frozen, I don't actually remember. I probably had that. Oh, 27, though. That's what you guys are way out there. Come on. Sonic 4, and we get a new Kong Godzilla out there. But I think we get some more Star Wars. Uh, Next year, we get Mando. So that'll be exciting. Um, guys, I don't have a lot of other topics. Let me just browse my feed for a minute. Maybe I'll call this kind of early today. Well, I see there are a few of you here if you want to toss some topics at me. Also, again, just because I don't know when I was frozen and how that went, I had kinda answered the question from last time of like, "Hey, why are you doing this now?" And it was just, in some ways, dumb luck. That's why I'm doing it now. Like, oh, Phil meant that I'm frozen. I thought he was talking about the movie Frozen. Ugh. Oh, clear this up, guys. Are we talking about the movie? Are you watching? I was about to say goodbye to you all. I don't have a lot of topics still anyway right now. Phil is still saying it's Frozen. You know, there's only 1 or 2 of you who I know who you are on both X and YouTube. Alright, people are saying some are not Frozen. Alright, he was sucking me out. Uh, oh, there's Ben. I hear from him time to time on X, I get that. I don't know if I have a ton more topics, you know, like I said, usually what happens for the other videos is I take some time, think about it, and so right now, I mean, we've covered things I'd wanna cover. Um, I don't know if I look at my feed, maybe there's some interesting news or something, but I think we kinda could go, and I need to eat dinner over here on the West Coast anyway. Well, hello, Margaret. So, yes, don't know you, but you know me. That works. Uh, you know what? So someone's talking about cinema sweets. If this ever makes it to Adam and he was this deep in this, and I don't think he will be, this has not been my finest moment in terms of the feed, and that's fine. I'm able to laugh about it. Don't worry. Um, I so case in point, the pretzels, right? My 11-year-old literally said yesterday, like they're his favorite of any chocolate covered pretzels. Mine too. And then I love chocolate covered raisins, but I know I'm one of the few like I don't know quick chat poll like who actually likes raisins. You know, I do. So I get the chocolate covered raisins, but we were so successful with the popcorn. You know, Adam has said it's profitable. He confirmed that. And then how funny! I actually look like someone said I look. Okay, all right. I think I told you guys in the first live that I had a beard for almost our whole journey. I just shaved that recently. Maybe I'll grow that back. Let you guys see that sometime. Yes, somebody likes the raisins. But okay, so here's the point. Like, I honestly think these are high quality. They're good. Now, I don't know what the math is, how it pencils out in terms of profits. One of the reasons it works for us, Adam told us way back, if you'll remember when we first came out with them, is you're what's called kind of almost vertical retail. If you're the person making something and then you also are the person selling it, then you're keeping all of the profit. Whereas, like when we were selling, say, Hershey's chocolate covered pretzels, Hershey's needed to take some profit, sold it to us, then we needed to mark it up to get our own profit. And so the amount of profit AMC was getting on those was smaller than now when we sell our own. But if we sell that to a grocery store, like Walmart is, they're so huge, they can kind of command certain pricing. And so they can squeeze you a little bit if you're a vendor. Um, I don't know if we'd make a profit on them or not, but boy, they're good. Like I would love to see us be able to put those in grocery stores. Thank you, Francisco, saying, and or maybe I sound like a white guy trying to sound proper Spanish. My wife is Latina, so I have to try to get it right a little bit. But anyway, thank you for saying don't give up. Let's keep it going. More hipster. Well, guys, come on. I, I got the red and black plaid. I got kind of a lugger thing going here. It's too hot to wear the. I guess I don't know. Hipster, I'd have to have the beard that kind of comes down a ways, right? The geez, what do you call it? Suspenders, right? So I see you on that. All right, so a couple people like the raisins. That's cool. Oh, I'm no long hair and a bun. No, we're not doing man bun here. I've had the same hair since like fifth grade. We're not doing man bun. So, no, thank you. I will share an embarrassing story. Alright, so my hair is, you can see, just, like, straight as heck, and, my dad's hair is, like, kinda wavy, and, I don't know, mid-90s or whatever, like, Hugh Grant was super famous, and I was like, "Oh," and so this is when I ran cross country and track in college. I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna grow my hair out," and so I was trimming the sides and letting the top get long, and I was expecting it to be this wavy thing. There's a picture of me running in a race, and it's just flopping around, so, no, no man buns for me and no long hair. Uh, that's funny. Funny track in the chat. All right, I'm gonna check for some news here, see what's going on. I think next time I do one of these, I don't know, I'll probably try it next week again. Although, actually, I got a busy week at work next week. I don't know how much. Does AMC fly up once? GME flies up. Man, there's just different, uh, different theories on that. I don't know who leads the way. You know what I'm really hoping, and I'll do a video on this sometime, probably more of a not a live. I'm really hoping that maybe AMC and GameStop get to run before Bitcoin. And I'll be frank with you, be open with you that most of my gains, once I feel, I'm not going to FUD you guys either or anything, but once I feel like, okay, the thing has happened, um, a lot of that's going to Bitcoin for me. That's what I trust over the years. And I've been real clear with you guys, though. Please be careful because Bitcoin is also very volatile. Uh, but like I tell my 19-year-old, just put a little money in at a time and don't look at it until you're 40, kind of a thing. So if you're willing to wait, somebody said, what did they say? It was a clever turn of phrase on X like 3 or 4 days ago that I saw. Oh man, basically just about not timing the market with Bitcoin and being patient. But darn it, they had a really good turn of phrase. Um, I'd have to go check. Somebody I think was. Are we doing the why now question again? I already covered that. I think maybe I won't bore people answering that again. It's okay, Brian. I think you just weren't here when I answered it. Go back, watch the recording or something. I feel like I answered that. All right. Let me look here. Do you guys know? Well, no, you'll know that one. I'm not going to share that one. Yes, time in the market is better than timing the market. That's basically it was roughly that, but it was kind of about Bitcoin. But it wasn't exactly that either. It was fine. All right, what's going on out there? Looking at my feed. Oh, you know what? Here's one. Actually, let me go. I'm gonna find something. For those of you, and listen, all respect. I know some of you still disagree with me on Bitcoin, and you're just like, okay, bro, enough on Bitcoin. But for those who want to do DD, okay, let me go back. Someone was kind of asking me a few topics, and I was like, all right, you know what? Here, these are some of the breadcrumbs given to me. So I have posted in the past. You can go find the emails directly between Satoshi and Marty with two T's. Um, Real quick, I'll go ahead and go back and forth. Someone just said, do you think it makes sense to keep shorting AMC at this? No, no, it does not make sense to short AMC at this price. I mean, it's provable at this point that AMC is undervalued. It's math. Like this isn't, me being an AMC stan or whatever. It's math. AMC is undervalued. Uh, I mean, it just anybody shorting AMC at this price thinks that the shorts are going to win. That's what I mean. That's the only. It's that, or you feel the walls closing in, and you're desperate, and you're trying to manipulate the price. Um, Side note: I still remember in 2021. I think I told you guys I'd never even heard of a squeeze. Um, Maybe I gotta stop watching the chat. Never heard of a squeeze, and so I was learning. I knew the stock market well, but I wasn't a I mean, guys, I was working at Nike all day every day and traveling and busy and 50, 60 hour weeks and all that kind of stuff. And I was kind of a normal, corporate America, back to someone's said something about a white nerd or whatever. Um, yeah, a little bit I was. Like I did the normal suburban dad life, like 3 kids and a dog, literally. And so I didn't know about a squeeze, but I did know, thesis investing. That I was good at. and I will share thoughts on that as we go over time. And people, I remember. So what I've got going in my favor is I'm very logical, and I can just, I can put the pieces together and think about it. And some of you are probably skilled in that too. And I remember people trying to convince me that aggressive shorting does not even impact the price. And I was just like, what? Like you can literally just, 30-second Google search find out about that. And yeah, that's all the way back in 2021. And I was a new account. I don't know, maybe I had 100 followers, and people needed to make sure that my voice didn't get seen, right? Which told me a lot. Um, all the way back then. So shout out to whoever had, like, it was kind of a Larry Bird account. Had the old picture of Larry Bird with the mustache, and it was funny. We did a little dance, and so over time, that's when I was learning. Like, hey, I was actually like talking with shorts, and they were kind of trying to manipulate me and sway my sentiment. Um, that's why actually too, my X account is February because I had been on here with another X account and remember the January event. Like I saw, people were posting about, don't round trip the stock, and I was just engaging them in good faith, talking about round tripping and stuff. And then later realized I was kind of talking to people in FUD and didn't know it because I'd never even heard the word FUD back then, right? So, um, but yeah, people trying to convince me that shorting doesn't impact the stock. What was the other one? There was another one just a week ago or in the last few days. What was it? I'll have to go back and remember, but people are just they'll try to convince you all the time. And Red Tux is right. People argue water isn't wet, but shorts in particular just don't want us knowing the facts. And that's it makes me angry on a certain level, but there's a term called righteous anger, right? It's not some like out of control rage, but it's what makes me fight because I hate manipulation. It's not right. So I'm going to address something I saw a minute ago. So we're talking, Cinemark, IMAX. I think it's right and proper to compare, but I think I would not compare stock price because what you don't have there is the overall market cap and the overall value of a company and what are, price to earnings, price to sales that I've talked about. And so, Kitty was saying he talked about book value and some other stuff. I would try to find apples to apples comparisons because what if say IMAX had 10 shares total? Well, then each share would be worth like you know $50 million, or I'd have to go look at what their total market cap is, more than that. But anyway, um, and so you just can't compare if there's not the same amount of shares. But what you can compare is market cap and price to earnings and price to sales and some stuff like that. So I don't mean to take any stabs at that. So Richard, but um, I agree with you in spirit. I'd still completely agree with you that we are undervalued compared to Cinemark and compared to IMAX. So it's just, maybe just um, word to the wise. When we talk about it in terms of stock price, Wall Street looks at us and kind of says, "Oh, those guys don't know what they're doing," or something, and that's fine. Like I don't care what they think about us, but if you want to compare, you've seen me talk about price to sales as an example, and that they're like 5x us on price to sales. I don't know if that still hold here. I'll go check. Let me check. All right, hang on. Yeah, I do. Oh, retracted. Okay, never mind. I won't respond to that one. That's fine. Okay, hang on. We are, and let's check night trading. Man, that after hours, if you look between after hours to now, we kind of did, gosh, it's almost like it's the shape of some of our past squeezes, isn't it? Like that's where it's real algorithmic. A lot of the patterns you'll see, like even a day's pattern matches really our last 5 years pattern. So that's kind of odd sometimes. Anyway, night trading 344 right now on Webull. But so if I look at, yeah, so our price to sales is 0.32. Obviously, we're up lately, but that's still deeply undervalued. Oh, hey, this is what we should talk about. Did you guys see um, that the top story on Webull? I think it's yesterday, and so I had posted this on X. I talked to you guys Tuesday night, talked a little bit about price to sales, and of course, you guys have all seen. I mean, I've done whole videos on it. I've done lots of posts on it. Next day on Webull, um, the top news article was basically about AMC's price to sales, but putting it in a negative light. And I was like, all right, I see you guys. There's times where honestly, guys, and I know, I don't know, maybe some will say I'm full of myself. there's times where I'm like, these people are out there listening because I talked about price to sales with you guys on my first ever live. Next morning, literally before the market opened, Webull had a thing on price to sales for AMC, only they were taking shots at it, and still trying to FUD you guys. So take a look at X. I had posted that, or maybe it's still on Webull if someone wants to find it. Post that. Anyway, so if AMC's price to sales is like 0.32, I'm just scrolling down. I have Cinemark and IMAX way down the list down here. Got 150 trackers or something, tickers I'm tracking. Oh, hey, Cinemark a little bit glitchy in the night trading. It's hardly any shares, but no, that's not even night trading. The after hours. Take a look at Cinemark's after hours. Couple of weird little. I guess it's a percent. It's what. Not a huge percent, but there's kind of a dip. But anyway, let me look at their price to sales. So their price to sales 1.26. So they're about 4x us right now. So even right now from what 340. What were we today, guys? Yes, I told you I was busy, didn't track as closely. 342. So we'd have to be 1368. I don't know if I did the math right. 1368 or so. It's about $14. And then, so if we were $14, we'd be the same price to sales as Cinemark. Now, you get a little. We should go deeper in price to sales sometimes because basically, $1 in at Nvidia is not the same as $1 in at AMC. It just isn't because they have, really, really high profits and all that stuff. And so you got to make sure you're comparing to similar companies. And what people would argue is Cinemark has lower debt and all that stuff. Working on the night trade. I see that one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing people kind of talk about Ryan Cohen's timing of the Bitcoin announcement, but that was just it's part of you get a lot of PR out of the Bitcoin conference, and I think that was the right timing. Personally, I think it was good, um, and so certainly, and again, setting aside any arguments. I mean, I even know I think a couple in this chat who don't totally. They think I've smoked the orange pipe with Bitcoin or something. I've been orange pilled a little bit, so it's okay if you disagree. We'll keep talking about it. Roaring Kitty, yeah. We talked in the last live, right? Like he unpinned his pinned post, which was I think an old live. He updated he took out his bio. He unfollowed RC. So that's what kind of happened last year too, right? Like there are these little signs. Like was he awake? This is terrible. I think you guys probably see me now. I'm gonna shut this off pretty soon, and then what we'll do is next time I'll be on the hard line. I've actually got part of my house wired for Ethernet, and I'll hook that up. I think you guys are there. Yep, there we go. Okay. All right, guys. I apologize. Whoops. What just happened there? Fits and starts. Fits and starts. You got to start somewhere. We'll make it better over time, and I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of folks who want to come hang out. No. Yeah. You want me to answer now again? Sure. You know what? I think mostly I'll probably call it, and because I was just going to kind of get into more of sort of the Bitcoin DD, but maybe what I'll do that one more as a thoughtful video sometime. Listen, it's going well. I think I'm trying to remember what I was answered when it froze, but honestly, just super excited. We got Karate Kid tonight. We got there's a ballerina next week, guys. Talked about it so many times. I should know. I'm gonna go look. Yeah, ballerina next week, and then on the heels. And by the way, that's gonna get close to Kitty's birthday. Oh, that's maybe what I was talking about too. I don't know, maybe I froze, but just the point is I was talking a little bit about him, being slightly active, his X and his YouTube or his Reddit, sorry. Actually, I think it's YouTube too. Maybe I think he unpinned something there too, maybe. Um, Hopefully you guys are hearing me. Yeah, Phil sent back. So let's call it. I'm freezing too much. My Wi-Fi is terrible. I'm in the wrong room. Maybe I'll switch to. My house is kind of long one way, and so I'm a ways away from the router. And so I will either do hardline next time or be closer to the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna stop boring you guys with this frozen dude. Um, yeah. Okay. Hope you guys have a good night. Don't worry. It's a bummer. It was this lame, but I'm not worried about it. We'll keep coming back. Uh, and you stick with me. I'll stick with you. And I'm not leaving. So, oh, you know what? I didn't finish the live right last time, right? I didn't finish it right. You know what I believe. We will win. So let's go.